Yo, what's up guys, you with the Budget Monk and welcome to a new video. So I wanted to answer my own question in this video. When I first started playing EU5, I wondered to myself, what can you actually do when you're playing a tiny, minuscule little nation? In this case, the Lordship of Man. We're playing as the Isle of Man, which is a one location miner. That is the equivalent of being a one province miner in EU4, even though... Is it really? We're so small. Probably playing as a nation that owns an entire province united, like Cyprus, would be the equivalent. But this game can get really brutal, right? Where you have these minuscule little nations. And so this game is far from balanced or anything like that. Some nations that are weak are just weak. End of story, right? But I wondered to myself, if you were playing EU4, you could let time pass, you could develop, right? Develop is the main thing you can do. Yes, you're going to be bastardized, you're small, but it is by far the most productive thing to do. You can push institutions and so on, sell the institutions, get money, get quite powerful relative to your size, and catch up, right? Even though you're behind in technology, you should actually catch up. So with that being said, what can you do here? Well, there's nothing, everything takes place over time here, and there's nothing which is actually going to be that impactful as developing. But the best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is go to the cabinet and promote migration. So I'm not going to change anything at all. What I will do is just balance the economy a little bit really quickly. Let's not play for Diplo. It looks like it's pretty easy to do that on this nation. Mint a little bit here, and we'll call that a day. So Man actually seems pretty rich, guys, for the size of their country. I'm not going to lie. There are one location nations which actually start running a deficit. So if we look at migration into our country, we got 7 population last month. Let's run the game a little bit and see how much we get. 4. We're going to do a before and after. 7. 5. A couple more times. 7. Now we're going to encourage migration to the country. Now notice our total population is the population of the Isle of Man here, and it's 5,616. I've noticed some of these actions don't seem to actually take place until not the end of month, but a full month after that has played out. So we probably will not see any difference this month. We'll see. 7, that's what we're used to. Now it should play out. Now, just to take note over here, guys, you can see your government in the little ledger, and it will say 0, as you can see. So we gained 7, which is the type of number we're used to dealing with an addition of no additional. Let's let a month go past again, and boom. 66 with, you can see, 59 additional. So that was a 7-month population growth, which is near a 10x, right? 7 times 10 would be 70. So over 6 times as much growth. Let's go again. 14. So that would be twice as much as the ideal circumstances, right, of gaining 7. Boom. 68. That is quite literally a 10x, right? So that was an 8-day month plus 68. Just about a 10x. Again, that's a, what, 2 times the maximum? You can get the point, guys. It's between around 2 to 10 times more effective in terms of growth. I don't know what the average of this kind of numbers we're seeing would be, but let's say it's like 40. Well, you can do simple math of like 12 times 40, which I think would be 480 population per year. That means you're going to be getting around 10 times that in a decade, right? Which is about 4,800 people over 10 years if you play pretty quickly. And that's substantial. Depending on the size of your location, that could be doubling the location. So this is the most productive thing you can do from my experience. And it's going to increase your economy, your tax base. It's going to increase your levies, making you stronger. And it's just by far the most productive thing to do. So Migration is number one. Values. Another way that you can boost your nation over time is values. This obviously applies to any nation. While it doesn't matter the size of your nation, you can change your values. And what is going to benefit you the most, in my opinion, is pushing for free subjects. As you can see, free subjects it grants you monthly prosperity. Prosperity is really important because this is your prosperity here, population growth and migration. We just showed you how powerful migration can be to boosting your population. So prosperity, basically, if your province, your location is very prosperous, it's going to grow and attract more migrants, which is another way to boost your taxes and your levy force limit and so on, and make you more powerful. So that, to answer the question, that's how you make yourself the strongest, in my opinion. Forget about centralization early, that can wait. Forget about other things. It's free subjects. If you look here, you can see what these modifiers here to push for free subjects are potential modifiers that are accessible. This is how you could push further and further. And most of these represent, they are privileges to a state, as well as policies and policy changes that you can make and that sort of thing to push free subjects really high. And of course, changing society values here as your other cabinet member. So I recommend migrating and then change societal values. Now, I will do a caveat. That, in my opinion, is how you build your nation up in the fastest and most efficient way to actually see some benefit over time. So some nations run a deficit from the beginning of the game. But what you might find is if you balance your economy to the best and you sit there building, you may turn it around where you're actually starting to make some money, okay, and can actually go somewhere by doing those two things. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's your best option. So another one you really want to look out for, in my opinion, is consolatory, and consolatory has reputation. So maybe the number one important thing that you can do is try to pull allies, okay? And although if you go to diplomacy, it may look like you don't have any significant ally within reach. So something like England is 62, as you can see. But what you would obviously want to do, the very basics to diplomacy, is improve relations, but you would also want to improve your reputation. So in our case, I have this guy coming for 3 reputation. That actually takes time, though, I believe, you can see here the little time, completion in 2 years, basically, okay? So we will build our reputation up over time, and then, of course, we could be changing our societal values as well as focusing the value of consolatory first, followed by free subjects. And lastly, for people who don't know, you can profess trust to a nation, which will actually lower your reputation overall, but it will give you a strong modifier of trust to that specific nation. So although it's going to weaken your diplomatic opportunities overall, it will help you pull an alliance. Those are the major things, right? Last minute, if the modifiers look close, rather than pushing the value, of course, switch over to reputation. So in my opinion, being a tiny little minuscule nation, diplomacy could be the difference between life or death. That's why it might be one of the most important things. But then to make yourself more powerful, I think free subjects is more important than even centralization. Every nation's values are going to be different, and some nations have high consolatory or free subjects from the beginning of the game. But these are the things, in my opinion, the prosperity, which benefits you. Once your prosperity gets high and you're getting the modifiers, giving you extra migration, attraction, population growth, and local development, that is when you might consider later on developing your province. And now you have multiple modifiers developing your province. Whereas when I was noob and ignorant at the game, I may have tried to develop straight up, okay? So I hope that helps you play tall. And I have a little mini announcement, guys. I am going to be playing, going forward, the lowest population nation within inside of Ireland, which is this guy. I can't say the name, guys. How do you... Let's take a look here. I don't know how to pronounce that. The Tooth of West Connacht. So you guys can help me with pronunciation. But we're going to be playing this epic little county flag. And there are 1,500 Irishmen, 1 province, 1 location minus. So as far as I can tell, this is probably the weakest nation in Ireland. And when you open the game up, you actually are running a deficit of money, even when you put all of your balance into positive. So I hope my skills and what I've learned in this game can help me elevate that game and survive and prosper. I don't know. Maybe even if we are able to take over Ireland, we might get wrecked by England anyway. I'm not sure, but I'm looking forward to giving it a go. That's going to be live 6 days a week here on YouTube as well as over on Twitch if you guys want to check it out. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it benefited you in some way, and I'll see you next time.